Hi Gemini, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. My name is Varush and this is your reading for the beginning of 2022. The reason I'm doing this reading this way is I haven't done a reading with you guys for a while, and it's a transition phase, which means that there was certain types of transits at the end of 2021, and with the new year, new transits sort of emerged. I'm going to do individual videos for every transit today, maybe not Mercury retrograde, but I am going to go deeper into each topic. But I thought in order to get everybody on the same page, kind of understanding where we're coming from, that I would do individual videos of astrology and tarot and kind of explain it to you today. Not my favorite way to do readings because I do a lot of repeating then, but I hope you don't mind. And members, there is an extended for you guys with tarot only. Of course, I'll talk about, expand on some of the astrological comments today, but yeah, so you can catch that in the description. So first off, why don't we look at the astrology? So there's 4 major shifts that we want to look at when we're, kind of looking at this time. So right now the chart is showing end of December, and this is where a lot of, oh shoot, I don't want it to go so fast. Okay, let's try this. Okay, now I made it go slower because otherwise, too fast. So this is actually Christmas, the 24th, 25th, and of December. And so that's at a time when the nodes shifted. So there's 4 different transits. Now I'm up to par. 4 different transits that are significant for this time period to look at, to understand how the energy affects us and what the energy is. You want to watch for your sun, moon, and rising. I know this looks like your rising sign with Gemini here, but that's not the way that astrology in your personal chart necessarily looks. So so this is just a general chart, so I can talk about it with everyone. Okay, so so the nodes switched at the end of December through the beginning of January, and they'll stay in their new signs until July 12th, 2023. The North Node has entered Taurus and the South Node has entered Scorpio. For you, what this means is that it's an internal focus from a time in which there was a lot of stuff happening with other people. There's a lot more happening for you internally. You'll be doing a lot of processing over the next year and a half, and there will be a lot of releasing of how you do things on a day-to-day basis. And so, yeah, things are just going to really drastically change for you. Even now, they're already changed, in which a lot more energy is focused on introspection, on focusing in on yourself, and that sort of thing. So let's pick some cards for this transit, and yeah, we can talk about it in detail in a dedicated video. But just so you know, you're shifting inward. We have the 2 of Pentacles. The North Node in Gemini in the 1st house brought a spotlight on you in your social situations. A lot of people wanted your attention. A lot of people wanted, to interact with you. A lot was happening in your life. And now that the node has switched into the 12th house, it's shifted to a much more personal experience. And so you'll be creating that for yourself, as well as others will be creating that for you. We have the 2 of Pentacles with 8 of Pentacles. You might be taking up something that is quite involved, that requires a lot of responsibility, that involves a lot of hard work on your part. I see you as disconnecting from others, 9 of Wands, and not in a bad way, just in a, I want to focus on me. I want to focus on what I'm doing right now. I just feel as though you'll be turning your back on the hustle and bustle of the world. I sense that you've been pretty tired with it, actually. By the end of last year, you were probably like too much attention, too much, going on. Oh, there's all these crows that are flying right over me. How beautiful. And seagulls, like a murder of crows, like a whole giant flock. Maybe you saw it go darker for a second there. They just flew off of my building. But it's snowing outside, so birds are kind of freaking out. They don't know what to do. This is not a place where it snows on a regular basis. But anyway, I could see that you you got tired of the hustle and bustle of the first house, and your relationships with others may have been quite demanding because the South Node was transiting through your 7th house. So there was a lot of release of partnerships. There they go. Can you hear them? Yeah. They're flying around back and forth, trying to figure out what to do. Hi, guys. Very nice. Okay, so anyway, so we have the 7th house transit of the South Node, which means that a purging of your partnership issues with other people had happened. So your relationship vis-a-vis others changed, especially people who are close to you. And now you may be distancing yourself because of the things you've learned and decided. Okay, so this isn't a bad thing. This is just hunkering down to do some stuff. You can be very successful with that. And then we have the Queen of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. There's someone who wants your attention quite a lot, maybe a water sign, but not necessarily so. I feel like somebody at this time wants to talk and they want to work things out or figure things out, or they have something going on like a divorce that they want to talk to you about. We have the Knight of Wands. It feels as though you have a friend who is being in some way, hurt by somebody else, or had a stalker or some weird energy, and so they're turning to you for help. And I think that that's going to be something that's a distraction from your general energy of turning in, and a lot of rest. So you'll be doing a lot of sleeping. You'll be doing that fits perfectly. Very peaceful. I see the star on the bottom and it showed up a few times. So this is a nice peaceful time for Gemini from the looks of it. The second transit is, I'm very excited for this for you actually. This is one of my favorite transits. The second transit is Jupiter had entered into Pisces at the end of December and will stay in Pisces until May, enter into Aries, re-enter Pisces in October, stay till the end of November, and enter into Aries again. So it's a split year in terms of where Jupiter is. And so Jupiter is at the top of your chart through December and January. This is one of the luckiest placements for Jupiter because it just affects your entire life. The 9th house governs our ideas and our place, ideologically in the world where we are, and the 10th house is where we stand with others, including our career. Very lucky time in your life at this time. So December, January, February, all really good months because of Jupiter at the top of your chart. This will continue in the dates that I said. The other way to some other aspect about this to consider is that Jupiter is currently on a square to the nodes. Okay, so that square lasts throughout January and I think into February a little bit. So I think it's important to nurture both aspects of this transit to get it right. The nodes are, like I said, they're making you focus inward, while Jupiter is giving you a lot of opportunities, maybe a job offer, something else in the outside world that pulls you away from that. You don't want to choose one over the other. Like the nodes have a very big spiritual destiny, while Jupiter has a lot of luck and opportunity that will pay off ultimately as well. So you need to find a balance. They're not necessarily in harmony. In other words, you'll want to be by yourself and focus on some stuff, but there will be really great opportunities that come up through this transit that will, just warrant your attention. So be open to that, be open to both. Find a space. I know the 4 of Swords is a really good card for this because you'll need to sort of relax and reflect and give yourself an opportunity to nurture your rest and take care of yourself. Okay, so Jupiter in the 10th house. Let's see what it says. I really want to do a Jupiter series for you guys, so this is just a little intro. So we have the 3 of Swords. Okay, so 3 of Wands, sorry. See opportunity. Three of Wands is the merchant, right? The person who's coming. And then we have the King of Cups. Someone in your life is bringing you very lucky things, Gemini. There's King of Cups is like, it could be a love interest. Of course, Jupiter is in Pisces, so that's very lucky as well. Knight of Pentacles, new opportunity. This could be somebody who's older too. Someone who you know who's giving you a good opportunity, and here you are moving into your new adventure. It's been snowing a lot, which is not normal for this area. So if you hear like trucks or like weird sounds, that's what's going on. Here is the next message. We have the Five of Cups. What's sad? Five of Cups. Let's see. Remember, Jupiter, this is all for, there's a reconnection with someone. I don't feel like there's a reconnection with the King of Cups. What I feel like is that there's once again, a more closer relationship. So it's someone who you may know already, who you've been distant from for a period of time, and now you're reconnecting with them again. Then we have the Ten of Wands, hard work and dedication. I think that you'll be taking up something new and something that requires a little bit of bravery from you, some type of opportunity. Okay. So the last two transits that really signal the beginning of 2022 are retrograde. So the first one is Venus retrograde that we are under. It's happening in your 8th house. So this is a conversation with you about 2019 and 2020 a lot. The reason for this is in 2019 and 2020, there was a very intense stellium in your 8th house. And I would argue that it probably affected you more than any other sign. So having the fact that Jupiter, Saturn, and the South Node were in Capricorn with Pluto, it was a bit of a gong show at different times. Now we have different transits with Pluto and Venus retrograde, but I do feel like Venus retrograde in Capricorn at this time will resolve any outstanding issues from 2019 and 2020. Because it's the 8th house, anything to do with closure, shared assets with other people, intimate relationships with others that sort of spiraled out of control and you lost sight of or were difficult. Venus retrograde may finish up specifically intimate relationships or sharing resources with a particular partner. If that got really messy through 2019 through 2020, this may really help. So Venus is retrograde in Capricorn until January 28th. So this is happening now. And then it will also form some powerful conjunctions with Mars on February 18th, as well as throughout March 4th through the 25th in Aquarius. And so it is like a process that begins now and will elevate, and we'll talk about it deeper in another video, but just suffice it to be aware that relationship issues might work out, and especially convoluted relationships between you and a partner might be working out, or how do you say, like intimate relationships. Okay, so things are working out. It's an intense process. Let's see what kind of cards we get for Venus retrograde. Okay, so we have the World. See, because it ends in Aquarius, so there's some energy that's pulling you to the outside world. The answer will be possibly for some of you change of residence, going in a different direction. If a lover is waiting for you in another part of the world, you might join them. Finally, things may work out. Finally, things may pull you in a different direction. Although Saturn is in the 9th house, which is harder for change of residence, but this is the bigger pattern that might be a bit part of a bigger story. So the World card to me is nice. Companionship, friendship. It really feels like there's someone who you care about that's out there in the world. And, you know, some of you are married, some of you are single, so it's different for every person. But there's a disconnect between you and someone else out there in the world. That's a difficult situation that was probably complicated throughout 2019 and through 2020. And now there may be some give. Venus retrograde is insanely powerful, especially in Capricorn. And so for you, it's just such an significant transit that may free up a certain number of years in the past in which things got complicated. So, it's a release of stress. Again, waiting for the right time. 7 of Pentacles. With Venus retrograde, you do want to be careful with like jumping on board with things. So you may want to wait past the end of January to sign up for things, because when Venus retrograde ends, things that start coming up may disappear in part. So if you like start up a relationship with someone new through Venus retrograde, they may ghost you or they may disappear by January 28th. So be careful with how much you give, but be hopefully optimistic. And then we have 9 of Pentacles, financial issues. Remember, I was mentioning shared resources. Sorry, here we are in the, there she goes station, January 28th. And so shared money with others, the 9th house. So it's like maybe finally resolve of some financial issues in which you're sharing money with others. Page of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transits in Earth. And then we have the Empress. So some type of empowerment moment, expansion, growth. It takes some time. I do feel like many people will be taking a diversion, walking away from what they know to a better path. So maybe this is a part for you. And so what I'm saying is that I think that it has something to do with 2019 and 2020. It's not necessarily something new, and it's sort of like your solution after all this time. So it shouldn't be creeping up on you. You should know exactly what I'm talking about or see the pattern yourself. Okay. All right. So the last retrograde period that we want to talk about today is Mercury retrograde. Where's Mercury here? There he is. So Mercury retrograde, we're in the middle of his retrograde cycle here in our chart today. Mercury retrograde is retrograde from January 14th through the first week of February, something like that. Second week of February. It's a 3.5 week transit. And so Mercury retrograde begins in Aquarius, will enter Capricorn, go station, and then will go direct and re-enter Aquarius in February. And so, again, Mercury retrograde through this area of the chart targets the same area that was affected by the 2019 and 2020 transits. And so therefore finally talking things through with people, finally figuring things out, having a conversation about the past, having a conversation about travel, and finally going in the direction you've always wanted to go is definitely a part of this. And I would look at Mercury retrograde in this area as a complement to Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde stimulates the heart. Mercury retrograde helps us to talk about it. So even difficult issues might get resolved with this transit. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some cards. We have the 2 of Swords, Moon in Libra, indecision. I do feel like you've been kept in the dark from some things, and it's finally gonna, lighten up for you. Some things are being kept from you. You don't have all the information, and without all the information, you're not moving forward. And then finally, whatever you've been waiting for happens or transpires, and light comes in, information comes in. It's good energy. So, okay, so Mercury goes station on the 4th of February. So that's right there, you see. So, and then we have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, information comes to you, or you finally decide what you need to do. You finally gather the right information to move forward. There's a real, with this Mercury retrograde, it's like attaining the information that you need to know to push ahead is happening for your sign, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 3 of Swords. I feel like there's been a waiting game over an issue. And then we have some really lucky things. You run into the person at the right time. The timing of things as well to help you to figure out things. These transits are working really well together. And then we have High Priestess. trust that by the end of Mercury retrograde, you will have some personal knowledge, some insight and intuition about the circumstances that you're dealing with. And therefore, it is with your intuition that you are meant to act. So you'll know much better than at the beginning of Mercury retrograde. At the end, on February 4th, you'll have much more insight about what is the path that you want, at least, or you'll understand your circumstances much better. Okay, so members, I'm going to do an extended. It's going to be a tarot card reading with some reference to astrology, of course, because I'm an astrology nerd, so I'll throw it in, but we'll do some tarot. And yeah, thank you for waiting. You guys have a nice day. I'll be back with more. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful start to your year. Talk to you soon. Bye.